several right here, and then we'll get into, on the day, there's 5 main things that you need to have a successful hemp construction project. And if you're missing any one of them, your project is likely to fail. And so we're going to talk about all of those, go through them, and then we're going to go a bit hands-on. I've got some samples that if you're visiting with an architect or an engineer or anybody who's giving professional inputs to your project, I wanted everybody to get to take home a sample of that to where they can have a narrative. And then I'll talk a little bit about why I designed it that way. It is one way. It is not the right way. It's the right way for me. And so when you're designing your project, there's a couple of different options, just like there's many options with all the conventional sciences that are out there. And then we'll talk about those and let everybody share back and forth. I know blocks are coming on in a big way, and we'll talk about that a little bit. I've got a spray application machine, and I'll talk and share about that, about how that benefits the project and how this gets it more towards a normalcy to where it can go into production and efficiency instead of being a one-off artisan type of project. And so hemp versus cannabinoids. This comes in and talks to the genetics. Now, I'll make these slides available, but just for narration's sake, the cannabinoid plants, they grow about yay tall at best. And then this is a picture of Empress standing next to one, and it's barely head high. This is me, and standing over here, and my fingertips are 8 feet tall, and this plant has a lot to go, probably about 8 feet above that. And so, and this is some of us, we're stuck in a forest of it, and you really can't see us through the forest of the hemp stalks. And so it's grown differently. The cannabinoid style plant is a genetic that is different, just like a cherry tomato is different than a hamburger tomato. They're both a tomato, and then, but this one, the cannabinoid side, the physical properties of it, you can pull the bast fiber off of the outside, you can pull the woody part of the stem out of it, but it's different. The machine that was required is different, doing it at scale is different, and so as we learn about these things and we research, as long as we realize that, hey, if we're going to put this through a large machine that fills a whole industrial warehouse, there's going to have to be mechanization to it all to really do it at scale, and then that's where you're going to have that consistent genetic, that consistent plant that comes through it, and that's why the production agriculture producers, there's a lot of energy in the fiber side of things. And then I'll show some samples of fiber genetic plants as well as grain plants, and I've got some of those over here as well. And so why we haven't seen hemp products. This goes back to pre-2014. The Farm Bill that passed then made it legal to do test grows, trial plots, everything like that. Anything pre-2014 was a crazy idea. That was just the house we were at day before yesterday was built 2008, and this was someone who was a designer wanting to go after a look and have that old world style design and look, and so it was a fantastic structure. That was done in 2018, and all of it had to be imported. 2008. 2014 is the Farm Bill that made it legal for trial growing. Now, if you're going to produce a building material, you're not going to do it on just trial growing and maybe. 2018, the Farm Bill, where 14 cracked the door open for research, 2018 blew the door off the hinges. And so now it was legal, and this is 2021. We've discovered CBD, we've discovered a lot of different aspects and attributes. The fiber industries are like, hey, do you mean we can either supplement cotton or replace cotton? Clothing manufacturers are coming online, being part of the conversation with the large industrial producers. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that we will see come as a flash to us, and it's like, oh, there's this clothing brand, there's this clothing brand, there's this clothing brand. and they've all got, and it'll probably be imported. Some of it will be done right, some of it will be done wrong. There's ways, and this is one of the things as consumers we need to educate ourselves, because I know I was guilty of it. It's like, oh, that's made from hemp. I'm switching the giving it the thumbs up green light that this is good and beneficial, and then you get educated by somebody who's a little bit deeper into the clothing business, and it's like, well, no, the processing for that to make it feel a certain way is worse, in fact, than if we were doing it out of a synthetic. And so as consumers, we really need to know the processing and things. And the good thing about society as a whole is we've kind of seen folly in different areas, and what makes things work and not work, and we're willing to go that extra effort. Thus the organic certifications and things like that, and the food that we
Craft
eat.
beer.
And and all those things that give us the level to where we're an active steward of the planet. That's one of the things, and I'll just make a note about that. Now we're able to see it coming online in building products. And so now the larger industry is supporting it. The cannabinoids with CBD have come onto the scene. A lot of it is being commoditized. It's maturing. And so now the fiber side has been kind of like the quiet sibling that's just been growing along the way. And it's not an infant anymore. It's a toddler that can run, and it's gonna grab the scissors and run with it. So as consumers, we need to educate ourselves and know what's going on the way.